Bickley and Marotta Mornings. Arizona Sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
They say location is everything in real estate, and it's essentially the same in sports because we are past Labor Day, and the Diamondbacks are legally parked and still loitering in the swanky neighborhood, still in the thick of the playoff chase, and that is the good news. The Diamondbacks are also making it clear that they're a good team, but only against inferior competition. Their record against winning teams this year is 32-46, and for better context of what's going on, there are 6 good teams in the National League, while the 4 teams vying for the last wild card all have negative run differential. In fact, the emotional roller coaster of the entire season seemed to be summarized when Merrill Kelly screamed an expletive into his glove after leaving Monday's win with more Chase Field cramping. But don't let that ruin the fun, and let's all do our best to embrace what's transpiring and not nitpick at the obvious flaws on this semi-developed, underfunded baseball team. Let's hope that Torey Lovello's every decision in the next couple of weeks is worthy of water cooler discussion. And let's hope this team must face that perilous decision of who to start in the first game of a playoff series, Kelly or Zach Gallen. And if it's not too much trouble, maybe turn down the AC a few degrees at Chase Field. You know, a little air to show you care.
He was outstanding until he threw one pitch in the 8th inning, felt the cramping, the tightening, whatever you want to call it, came out of the game once again. 3rd consecutive start that Merrill Kelly has left a game at Chase Field with some sort of cramping issue. And he talked about this one just popping up out of the clear blue.
So this one just really came out of nowhere.
Yeah, felt fine until that one pitch to Montero, threw that slider and grabbed on me and then didn't let go.
Even the warm-ups were.
Yeah, we're fine.
It's the same spot each time, too, the right hamstring.
Yeah, right hamstring.
Yeah, so this is not a new problem for Merrill Kelly. He was recently on this radio station with Wolf and Luke back on August 25th. And he talked about, before he even got to the major leagues, this being an issue when he was pitching in Korea.
Yeah, no doubt. Happened, like I said, my last 2 years in Korea, it was pretty prominent. I'd get around the 5th to 7th inning, somewhere in there, and something would cramp. It was either my right hammy or it was my left forearm or my right hand. Got kind of crazy there for a minute. I'd follow through a pitch and my thumb would pretty much get stuck to my palm and have to pry it back open to throw just the next pitch. It's kind of weird that it's popped up now. I haven't dealt with it probably since 2019. But like I said, you know, I've got a great team around me as far as the training staff and Joe, our nutritionalist, and I know we're going to kind of get down to the bottom of this so I can make sure that I'm out there for the guys when they need me.
Merrill Kelly has gone on record and did it again yesterday talking about the temperature, the conditions inside Chase Field. He said it's hotter than other stadiums. But what we're talking about here, Bick, too, is these are not extreme conditions by any stretch.
No, because it's not affecting anybody else.
No.
And surely games that they play in outdoor ballparks have to be warmer weather than this.
Absolutely.
I don't know about that.
Like
I don't know about that at all.
They're playing in the summer.
Warmer than 78 degrees?
Yeah, they're playing in the summer in New York or Chicago or any of these places.
Right.
It's in the 80s or 90s when they play.
Right. But again, if you're in a place where the temperature's 120 outside and it's not properly cooled on the inside on the playing field level, it just sits there. That's kind of what I felt about the last game I covered there. I'm like, this is too warm in here. This is just not cool enough for ideal conditions. And again, that is just a very surface base observation based on one game from the press box. But this is something that you would think that you would look into if Merrill Kelly now is voice that concern, because whether you can debunk it, whether you think it's nonsense, whether you can't explain it, he feels it.
That's true. I'm curious though. There hasn't been a whole lot of chiming in from other teammates on this matter. Now, they're not dealing with the same issues that Merrill Kelly is dealing with, but we haven't heard really anybody come out and say, yeah, you know, it is a little warm in here.
No, it's true.
To put a little added pressure on the organization maybe to correct the issue.
Now,
I think this is, honestly, I think this is more medical than condition related, but, you know, The Diamondbacks have a history of catering to their star pitchers.
Oh, that has happened in the past. Well, and they should, because look,
They definitely should.
Merrill Kelly's statistics are, you would really have a hard time, declaratively saying who the ace on this baseball team is based on the numbers. Merrill Kelly's got a better ERA than Zach Gallen. He's pitched less games for less games. Their whip is nearly identical. 1.11 for Zach Gallen, 1.17 for Merrill Kelly. Mm-hmm. So, and across the board, the numbers just look, they almost mirror each other. And that really, to me, it really is a tribute to Merrill Kelly, who, if you've been paying attention, he has made another step up in class this year. He's gone from a B pitcher to an A- pitcher. He's pretty close to being ace material.
3 of his last 5 starts, he has 11 or more strikeouts.
Yeah.
Which is elite.
Yeah, that's right.
He's closing the gap in the strikeout category, too, 186 to 159. Just focusing on Zach Gallen, though, what we saw over the weekend against Baltimore after the really rough start in Los Angeles where he gave up 4 home runs. And his ERA over 2 starts is 9+. I mean, that's not ace material.
No.
And yes, it was a step up in competition, but I was fully expecting Zach Gallen getting home, even though he's going up against a good team in Baltimore, to kind of right the ship, and he just didn't have it again.
And we would, and had he righted the ship in either of those games, we wouldn't even be making these statements about them being equals. But it's those 2 games, those high-level games, that he's come up short on, been knocked around a little bit.
Well, I think what has occurred in the last 2 starts, because it's so close in the National League, Zach Gallen has kind of pitched himself out of the discussion for Cy Young right now.
That has
Before those first 2 starts, he was the front runner.
Yeah, that definitely has happened.
You know who I think is your winner right now? Justin Steele from the Cubs.
The Cub.
He's got like 16. He's 16-3. His ERA is like 2.58 or something ridiculous like that. And the Cubs are making a big second half push, and he's got a lot to do with it. I think he's the guy right now.
Yeah. Listen, and then over the weekend, you saw an MVP battle between Ronald Acuna Jr. and Mookie Betts. Yeah. It's good stuff. So there's
top 4 National League MVP candidates are from 2 teams.
I know. Isn't that something?
And one of those teams kicked the heads in of the other team. The Dodgers looked unbeatable against the Diamondbacks and then just absolutely got dominated by the Braves.
Yeah. Atlanta's a good baseball team. I think we figured that out. And so if the Diamondbacks get to 6, and for those who don't know, we've talked about this earlier today in passing, the 1-game wild card playoff thing, that's not a thing anymore. These are 3-game best of 3-game series. So if you're the Diamondbacks and you're finished in the 6, you're going to get the 3. And that 3 right now wouldn't be the Dodgers or the Braves, right?
No, it would be
the Mets, the Cubs, not the Mets.
Yeah, that'd be something, right?
It would be Milwaukee, wouldn't it, as the 3rd division leader?
Come on, Seamhead Jared. What? Come on,
Seamhead Jared.
Come on, Seamhead Jared.
I'll follow the NL Central. I didn't even know that was. I didn't even remember that it was a best of 3.
Yeah.
As you'll see in 50 minutes when we get to a social studies question that makes no sense now.
The question still stands.
Okay.
It works.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But yes, Milwaukee is leading that division by 2.5 over the Cubs.
Yeah, but the Cubs are well, yeah, Milwaukee's talented too. But I would.
But the Diamondbacks are close enough in the wild card race still to jostle their position on who they would play.
If you could go play a couple of playoff games, because if the Cubs catch the Brewers, you could go and play a couple of playoff games in Wrigley. That would be an incredible scene for this baseball team.
Yeah, last time they played a playoff series in Wrigley, it went pretty well for him.
Oh, it did.
The guy threw his glove at the ground. Do you remember that?
Yeah. By the way, Lucas Giolito, we talked about him after he was claimed off waivers by the Guardians. Did you see what he did in his first start? He got absolutely lit up.
Yes.
He gave up 9 runs in 3 innings. The Twins won. They scored 20 runs. Cleveland pitched a position player for 4 innings. It was a 9-1 game.
Wow.
And it ballooned to 20 runs. That to me is an absolute
disrespectful.
That's an absolute travesty.
I totally agree with that.
It was only 9-1.
Yep. I agree with you.
Ugh.
Yeah.
We didn't even get into the Diamondbacks offense taking 5 innings off again yesterday. That seems like a nightly occurrence. All of their runs will come in like a bunch or 2 bunches, and then at the end of games, there's just nothing. And that was that's been a problem with this team too. That series continues tonight. Got to win these games against the Rockies, a really, really struggling team.
Yes.